Let's talk about something that often operates in the shadows of our relationships. It's subtle, but it's powerful enough to completely warp our sense of reality. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on psychological manipulation, and we're going to unmask the patterns that define it.
I want you to think about a time you felt totally off balance with someone, constantly second-guessing yourself, walking on eggshells. That nagging feeling of confusion, that's usually the first red flag that something is off, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
All right, so here's our game plan. First up, we're going to get a really clear definition of what manipulation actually is. Then, we'll crack open the manipulator's playbook to look at their go-to tactics. After that, we'll face the real emotional damage it causes, and finally, and this is the important part, we'll arm you with the tools to spot the signs and reclaim your power.
Okay, so first things first. To really get a grip on this, we have to draw a very clear line in the sand. We need to separate healthy influence, which happens all the time, from something way, way darker: control.
So what are we really talking about here? Well, at its core, manipulation is just influence with a toxic twist. It's using sneaky, deceptive, and unfair tactics to get what you want. And notice those key words: deceptive and undermining. This isn't about just persuading someone. Oh no. This is a calculated game to bypass your own judgment and your free will, all for their benefit.
And this is where it all becomes crystal clear. Look at the difference. Healthy influence, it's open, it's respectful, it's about a win-win, and it actually wants you to think for yourself. But manipulation, it's the exact opposite. It's secretive, it's totally one-sided, and it's designed to make you dependent and doubt yourself. It all comes down to the intent, right? And the outcome.
Okay, so we know what it is. Now let's get into the how. It's time to open up that manipulator's playbook and really look at the core tactics they use to get control.
First on the list is a big one you've probably heard of: gaslighting. This is that insidious tactic where someone makes you question your own sanity. They'll flat out deny things they said or did, and then they'll spin it around on you. You're being too sensitive. You're imagining things. Over time, this constant denial just chips away and away at your self-trust, leaving you feeling confused and way more controllable.
And then there's the classic guilt trip. This one is nasty because it weaponizes your own sense of kindness and obligation. They'll frame things like you owe them, making you feel like a terrible person if you dare say no. It's a really slick move because it literally turns your own empathy against you.
And then you've got love bombing. Now this isn't just a few compliments. We're talking about a full-on tsunami of affection and praise, usually right at the beginning of a relationship. It feels amazing, right? But the goal is to get you hooked fast, so that when they start to pull back or make unreasonable demands later, you're already so invested and you're terrified of losing that incredible high. So we see the tactics, but what's the actual damage? What's the aftermath? It's so important to understand the real psychological harm this causes. This is the dark truth, the heavy price you pay for being manipulated. And believe me, the cost is huge. This is so much more than just having a bad day. We're talking about a constant state of anxiety and self-doubt, that brain fog feeling where you just can't think clearly. It's completely exhausting. And what happens when you're exhausted? You pull away, you become isolated, and at the end of the day, it's just this slow, painful chipping away of your own self-worth.
Okay, we've talked about the what and the how. Now for the most important part. How do we fight back? How do we protect ourselves? It all begins with building your defense, and that means learning to spot those warning signs as early as possible.
Think of this as your personal diagnostic kit, a simple gut check. If you're feeling weird about a relationship, just stop and ask yourself these 3 things. 1. Do I constantly feel confused around them? 2. Do they say one thing, but always do another? And 3. Do I feel like I have to bite my tongue and not be myself just to avoid a fight? Trust me, your gut answers to these questions will tell you everything you need to know.
And all of this brings us to our final and honestly, our most empowering point: your own power. Because this isn't just about learning some psychology terms. It's about turning that knowledge into a real tool you can use to protect your own well-being. If you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this: manipulation needs secrecy and confusion to survive. It thrives in the dark. The second you can shine a light on it, the moment you can name it and say, hey, that's gaslighting, or you're trying to guilt trip me, you strip it of its power. Your awareness truly is your shield. It is the first and most powerful step to breaking free. So I'll leave you with this one last question to think about. Take a hard look at the important relationships in your life. Are they built on a foundation of mutual respect and trust, or do they feel more like a quiet, constant struggle for control? Answering that question for yourself, honestly, well, that could change everything.